productive failure, right? The term itself that, it kind of sparked the interest.
I was intrigued by what it offered.
As an adult educator, especially working in a healthcare context, I thought it would be interesting to add another skill set to develop new tools to be able to bring learning to a next level.
I had the idea that it's kind of like problem-based learning. But from watching the video and attending the sessions, I actually realized that there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more nuance and a lot more structure.
The very interesting thing about this whole productive failure project is the way we were introduced to productive failure was through productive failure workshop. We were asked to just come up with the design principles. We were failing, a lot of this discomfort, but we were trying to actually learn through so whatever discomfort our participants might go through later when we are actually running the program, we felt it firsthand by ourselves.
In the past, whenever we conduct training for teachers, it's very direct instruction. It's rather narrow in scope, I would think. But because we are using the PF approach, there are so many elements and a lot of opportunities for them to discuss and present their solutions. It's very, very different from the traditional way of training.
Okay, my line, quality, health and safety. So it's like protocol, process, compliance. Our way of training or interaction is just one way. I went through 2 rounds of PF exercise. The first round was very awkward because that is then, okay, I understand, but now how I am going to implement it to my learners. There was a lot of hesitation, especially on my side, to draw out or to challenge them. Subject matter is very important because you are going to draw. You must know the big puzzle that you're going to fix. So I think that is something I feel that the difference in conducting this PF.
At first, I thought the template was quite structured, but after going through it, and Prof. Manu, he was trying to put us on the path of productive failure also. So we just have some guideline and we'll have to come out with the design ourselves. So through there, the first attempt was not as great as what we thought. You may or may not get it. So I probably got it at the 3rd time. As you do more and more, you'll start to realize that productive failure, there's no one single solution.
When the framework was first introduced to us, I would say that it's actually very, very interesting of the approach that was going to be taken. As adult educators, we use many frameworks, we use many tools for us to get the message across. This was like flipping the whole approach.
Actually, it was quite confusing because there was quite a lot of terminology. It was a little bit like you're just walking around in a little bit of a blur. You sort of knew what it was, but you didn't really know. I think the point that you realized what it was when you did the session.
I think that the PF itself is something very interesting because it's really an experience that you have to go through. There's no right or wrong or correct method.
So for me personally, it was a very enriching experience simply because it adds on to my understanding of the space in terms of the pedagogy as well as the instructional design and so on.
Instead of repeating the same slides again and again, I thought that by giving them a scenario to process the whole information and they presenting the information to me and ask them questions on what they have presented, I thought that the whole process might be more interactive. Through their answers, I may discover new ways of doing things also. The challenge is without the so-called model answer, the students will definitely come to you more and ask questions. So that is the required effort to deal with the students' answer and make sure that they are in the right scope, but without giving up too much so that they can have some challenge on their own to think through the whole process.
Even for the very experienced trainer, you can get a bit complacent and you can sort of fall into a little bit of your own trap where it worked, right? So you can do it over again. So it was refreshing that I was being challenged and that I had to try and do things in a different way.
Productive failure is really about looking at how we can create that space, the affordances for the learners to then generate their own failures or errors. Through the errors, they actually explore as well as discover for themselves some of the underpinning theories or even their own assumptions.
I'm a complete believer now with this PF methodology. It is like if you really want the kind of results, a kind of sustained learning impact to the learners, then we will have to use from the design stage these kind of methodology that can help people actually solve their own problems and It's like giving them how to fish rather than just giving them the fish.
I think one of the very big difference is actually in evidence of learning. For example, when we attend traditional workshops, it's A, the training, and B, the results. That's about it. But now we see our fellow colleagues take the results B and adapt it to their own TNL, which results in product C. It's not just a passive absorption of the knowledge and skills, but actually actively taking it, integrating it, and transferring it, adapting it to their own practices, which I think ought to be the ultimate objective of good learning.